So this is a board we're going to be building today. This is an in-stock keyboard from Keycaps. You can buy it from Keycaps, right? But it's kind of cool because it has removable blockers. I was supposed to build this a little earlier, but we got it now, so hooray. I already opened it earlier, but we'll show you. We'll open it again. So we're going to be using alu plate. It is hot swap. So it comes with like the feet and the little screw you need. Lots of layers. So here's a PCB. Another layer. It's kind of fancy because these layers are like velvet. So here's the foam, the PE stuff. So here is the board itself right here. So this is the purple color, and these blockers are removable. Pretty cute. It comes in 4 different colors. So you have black, white, a burgundy, and a purple. And this is the purple, right? I asked like what this was for, and they said it was a battery. And I asked if it would interfere, and they said it wouldn't. Interesting, right? So here is the side profile. And it's cool because you can see the little sliver right here. The sliver goes all around the case. And then if you look up here, it says Isabell. It is a lower USB port that is on the left-hand side. You got a little Isabell right there. Cute. I think you would have to get a Bluetooth PCB. They have it in there in case you do decide to do that. But the PCB is QMK via compatible. So here is the PCB. So that's cute. Keycaps. We sell keeb right here. We sell keeb. So you can do regular step caps. You could do 7U, 6.25, full, right shift, or split. Looks like you could do split backspace as well. So you do have a couple different layout options with this hot swap board. It does have 2 flex cuts, so a bigger one up here and then one right here. So if you look at the back, so there is a physical reset button and there's also LEDs. But yep, that's the PCB. So I asked Kiwi, like, hey, why the removable blockers? And apparently it's like the new popular trending thing. I mean, it makes sense, right? So for the base price is this is $239. So that was something that I noticed when I first saw the board, because I saw the blockers and I was like, oh, what is that seam right there? And then Kiwi told me like, oh, it's removable. So yeah, the seam is definitely there. Okay, yeah, so on the top you can see there are 2 screws holding it together. Okay, so this is the seam that we were talking about. So you can see, like it's not continuous, but that's okay. This one's nice because if you ever want to change your layout, you have the option too. This is really weird, but I like that there's nothing on the bottom because you can get it engraved and not have to worry about anything blocking it, right? And yeah, I just love that there's nothing on the back. It's completely clean, and so you can totally get like a laser engraved or whatever you want on there. And I'm working a lot with like content creators, and that's like one of the biggest things is that they want like engravings on their boards to make it like truly custom. And one of the things I struggle with is finding boards with really clean backs, because you know there's always like a logo or something blocking it, and there's never any boards that are just clean slate. How long have you been making keyboards? Like 1.5 years now. All right, so the switches we're gonna use. Ooh. So these are the peach bloom switches. So these are the peach blossoms. They are GWK. It's a linear. These are full nylon housings. It has a long pole stem. The spring is 63.5. Oh, peach bloom, sorry. I think I said blossom. Peach bloom. Hot swap's so nice. I don't know why people harp on hot swap. It's honestly so convenient. It's nice that I go back and forth. I get to go back and forth between like hot swap solder boards. Gives me like a nice break. Well, I do like soldering, don't get me wrong there. But sometimes it's nice to just like pop on switches and call it a day. Also, I really like these gaskets because they're like perfect size for these. They're actually like spot on. I'm not having to like readjust and like recenter it and like, you know, all this jazz. Like when you align it to the edge and you put it across, it fits perfectly. Okay, so when you're assembling this, basically you want to make sure that the USB port is aligned properly. Plate as well. Okay, so this is for my VOD later on. So when you're assembling case, when you're putting it together, you want to put the bottom piece down, then the mid piece to align it, and then put your plate, and then the top case so everything's aligned. Then flip it over, put the screws in. The corners, so opposite corners, and then screw the rest in. But don't screw it in all the way. Just do like a little bit at a time. What keycaps are you using? I will go grab my taro. I feel like I always use taro, but for good reason. Alright, so this is the Isabell. We're using peach bloom switches. Both of these you can find in stock at Keycaps. They also have a few regional vendors, but yeah. We're using alu plate. I have the switch foam, and then I have like a bottom foam, like the case foam. TX stabilizers. This is PVT taro, and a very cute Miru. But yeah. Okay, I haven't typed on a regular keyboard except for this one today, so I feel a little rusty. It's also split backspace. You like this one? The spacebar is really distinct. I like the center though. So for the 100th time, this is the Isabell in stock, 60%. It's cool because you have removable blockers. I like the spacebar. It's very distinct. I liked it. But yeah, so these blockers are removable. They are on the top case with 2 screws right here. So 2 screws right here, right? And then you do have this like middle accent piece right here. But this is the side. This is the back. I was saying earlier that I really like the back side because it's blank. So if you ever decide you want to like engrave it, it's perfect. Like you have a blank canvas ready to go. Also, look, was this planned? Look at the Miru and look at the Isabell, the A. Oh my goodness, was that planned? Crazy. So it's nice because you can remove the blockers. So if you are like, well, I never use the right key, but I do use left, like the left Windows key, just remove this blocker and then you can have it. Easy. Or if you're like, oh, I need both these keys, you just get both of them. I think this is, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is one of the first in-stock boards that have the removable blockers that I've seen. I haven't seen a board with removable blockers in stock, so it's pretty neat in my opinion. It does come with a lot of foam that you can put, or like different sound dampenings. So you have this one, and then you also have the full one. You have this PE foam. So if you're going to use this one, you put this first before you put the stabilizers on, but just know that you will have to cut this part off. So if you're watching this and you're trying to assemble your Isabell, but you're like, I'm really confused, I'm not sure like if I'm doing this correctly, I will say that what Father said earlier about how to assemble the case is putting the bottom case, the mid piece, and then the plate, and then the top case to kind of align everything. When you're putting in the plate or the PCB, so you want to make sure that it slides in. So when you're putting it in, slide it in, making sure that it aligns with this hole, and then like adjust it, and then you can put it on top. And then after that's everything is aligned, you can flip it over. And when you're screwing in the screws, they are going to be, so for me, they were pretty tight. So what I did was I did the two corners opposite. I screwed it in about halfway, and then I did the same with these corners. And then I did these halfway, and then I went back and did it all the way for the rest of them. Same order, kind of. And the reason why you want to do that and you don't want to screw like just one corner in all the way, because then it'll be like slanted. And so if you screw it in halfway, like slowly at a time, it will feel more, it'll just screw on better, because it's not one side is like extremely tilted and the other side you have to like force it down. So if you do the opposite corners halfway and then do these halfway and then do it all the way, you'll end up getting like this flush, right? So if you do have a gap, you haven't screwed it in all the way, but if you've noticed that it's like a little difficult for you to screw in, just do what I said with like doing the halfway in the corners. So if you're watching this in the future and you're confused whether you're doing it right, just keep going. Yeah, so some pros and cons about this board. So one thing I really liked with this board was how accurate the gaskets were. The fact that I could align the gasket to the very edge and then push it down or let it lay down, and it would be exactly aligned from edge to edge. I maybe this is just me being picky, but I love that. I don't like when you have gaskets and you put it on the edge hoping to align it, and then the other side is just like way too short. Maybe it's just one of those things that I'm picky about, but I really did like how the gaskets just like aligned. The only thing that I would say is that these screw holes are really tight. Like I felt like I was putting a lot of my like body into, you know, making sure that it was like screwed all the way. I don't know if that's because of the thickness of the gaskets or if it was the screws, but I think the only thing is like if you struggle putting the case together, and then later on you want to remove like these blockers, or if you want to change anything out, you do have to do the whole thing again. I don't mind the seams, right? But I could see some people saying, oh, well, I don't like seeing the seams. If you take these blockers off, obviously you don't see the seams, but I think just having that option is really nice. Okay, well that's it. Hope you guys liked my in-depth thing. Yeah, I don't know what to call it. Analysis? I don't know.